Hey everyone, welcome to another cast by HD Phoenix. This is going to be game 3 of Ice on the Korean server. His opponent is going to be Ace. Ace is not a pro gamer, so I don't know anything about him, but remember, because this is a ladder match, and Ice is on the same hidden rating that he's fighting Korean pro gamers, Ace also has to be off the same level, so I'm looking forward to a very good match. Actually, this map is going to be on Delta Quadrant, and I really hate this map as a Zerg. I have it crossed out on my maps list, and the reason is because look at this natural. If your hatchery is right here, it is so wide open, and because the ramp is so far away from your natural, it's really hard. You can put 2 spine crawlers here, but then you need to put another spine crawler here to protect the backside. And also stalkers can abuse this high ledge, reapers can abuse this high ledge, and it's just a nightmare for Zergs to really get this get expansions on this map. And there's a gold nearby, and there's also an in-base natural, but because the destructible debris has 3 armor, until you get roaches, Zerglings do very poorly against that, because Zerglings do 5 damage. The armor is 3, so 5 minus 3, they only do 2 damage, and the destructible debris has 2,000 health, so you're gonna waste a lot of time, and you're not gonna be able to get that early hatchery. This probe is gonna be a little irritating. He's gonna force 2 drones off, but yeah, just this little plays just to get that little bit of economic edge. And so far it is looking to be a very standard, no kind of cheese from Ace. He is getting a placement, so he's most likely going to drop a cyber core, a second gateway here, and then he's going to have a nice little choke off here. And the probe is already going to be irritating and just going to make sure there is no kind of early hatchery. The gas and the pool is down for Ice, and actually what you can do is, because the ramp is so far away from this probe, you might actually want to sneak a hatchery here. But looking at these overlords, Ice is not even scouting. Like, the Ace knows where Ice is, but Ice has no idea. And this overlord is just reaching this base, and look at that. He's already pulling it off, because you're always going to block off against a Zerg. And he sees no buildings here. He doesn't even need to check if there's a nexus, and he is going to move to the next spot. But until Ice gets his second overlord to this other location, then by the process of elimination, he knows that Ace is a cross spawn. Ice is playing blind right now. Actually, if he goes 2-gate and put out a lot of zealots, actually Ice is going to be in a lot of trouble. And this probe finally is going to give it up. And notice there is not going to be any kind of hatchery. Ice is playing 1 base, and that's actually very common on this map, because the natural is so hard to control that a lot of Zergs will play 1 base, make a slightly large army push, and then when they have the economic edge, then they will get a second base. But yeah, these links are going to be able to pick off this worker. The worker moves slightly slower than a Zergling. A Zergling without speed moves at 2.95, and a worker, I believe, moves at 2.75. So yeah, there goes the hatchery. It is delayed, but so far Ice is going to be playing standard. I guess this is standard. You know, it's not no early hatchery. It's not macro. And interestingly enough, Ice has not gotten a zealot. So these links actually, if they're in larger numbers, could actually just walk by. And that stalker just walked through this gap. So wow, a stalker is a medium-sized unit, and if it can walk through this gap, then Zerglings can definitely go by. I don't think actually Zerglings can fit through there. So this is the wall off right there. But interestingly enough, I don't know if those links were actually able to run by. This stalker could go down very quickly. And Ace is going to be defensive, has a sentry out already. So oh, that's actually interesting. There's an early pylon out here, and this early pylon tells me that most likely he's going to try to get a forge here, maybe a pylon, and then just try to contain his natural. But that's actually really strange, because if you look on Ice Point, this is such a huge area. If you want to, I guess, build buildings across, I don't know, that's really dumb in my understanding, because if you are a Zerg and I see you going a cannon fast expand, I just make a whole bunch of Hydras, and your stalkers only have a range of 6. Your stalkers stay behind, and then your Hydras can just power down the buildings. If your stalkers go around and in front of the buildings, then your links can just basically destroy them. And then Hydras do very well against zealots, and sentries are no good against Hydras. And if the pressure comes out too early, and the protoss doesn't have either High Templars or Colossus, then Hydras are just going to destroy this. And there goes the Forge. I'm not going to agree with this. He's getting a lot of sentries, which is very wise, because right now, without the building placement, he needs a lot of these force fields, just basically to wall himself in, act like temporary buildings. And he's going to be fine for now. But look at that, Ice is already with these many links. Look how slow this is going down. I remember seeing I think 2 Thors, and 2 Thors actually powered down this probably in half the time or less. This Rocks isn't being powered down, but these Links should be going over there to power that down. And wow, is that what? Is that 3 Queens? And there's a 4th Queen, and he's making more Queens. Look at that. There is no gas. Oh my god, just realized there's actually 0 gas. Looking at the income tab, he is 1,000 minerals, over 700. Ice is going, I don't know if this is influenced by Korea, but Koreans have been doing this build. It is going to be all Zerglings and Queens, and these Queens are being made early. They're going to be able to transfuse each other, and it's going to be a pure mineral army. And this probe is going to come in here and see these Queens. And Ace has to be prepared for this. Actually, this is actually really, really good for Ace, because right now he has Stalkers, he has Sentries, but they are horrible against Hydras. But because Ice is going for this wonky Queen build, he doesn't have any gas to support any of the Hydras. Actually, if he got 4 gas right now, he could churn out a lot of Hydras. But if you're looking at Ice Sight, yeah, on Eyesight, all he sees is this Forge. He sees the early Nexus. He is getting a 3rd in response, but right now on the Armies tab, yeah, 300 versus 900 minerals on the 7 Queens and 12 Lings. I don't know, and this one Spine Crawler is probably going to be joined by a lot of brothers in a short while. Usually when you make this push, what you do is you kind of play like Terran, where you basically walk your Spine Crawlers forward, and then you have your MM ball, which is going to be represented by Zerglings and Queens. Follow your Spine Crawlers and slowly walk forward, and then you force the enemy to engage your Queens with Spine Crawler support. And yeah, there we go. We have 2 outlines of Spine Crawlers. These drones are going to be Spine Crawlers in just a short while. We do have 3 more drones coming out, and a very, very, very nice creep spread. And notice he's only making 2 tumors here, 2 tumors here, and he's saving up all the energy on these 9 Queens. The powerful thing about Queens is because their ground attack they basically have 2 claws. You see these 2 mandibles on top of this Queen. These two spines do this double damage. So remember, when you get missile attacks 1, the Queen's damage moves from 8 to 10, and then from 10 to 12, from 12 to 14. And actually, a fully upgraded Hydra does 15 damage, a fully upgraded Queen does 14. So Queens actually do a lot of DPS. They attack almost as fast as a Hydra. But of course, their range is short. Their range is only 3. But I would really like to see Ice get an Evo Chamber, because you really, if you go this build, you really need attack 1 for Links, because remember, as I said, it's roughly a 20 to 25% boost if you go from 5 damage to 6. And similarly, the Queen can go from 8 damage to 10. That is huge. You really need that. And Missiles 1 and Melee 1 is so cheap. It's 100 minerals, 100 gas, but that is a scary force from Ace. He has a modified 4-gate, and these Links are just being just roasted alive by these Stalkers, and it's not in range of these Spine Crawlers. There are 6 Spine Crawlers. There are 10 Queens right now, and with the range of 7 on these Spine Crawlers, here goes. There's very nice transfuse. These Spine Crawlers are not going down. We haven't lost a single Queen yet. Look at the beautiful healing by Ice. 1 Queen finally goes down. There might be a second Spine Crawler. The second Spine Crawler goes, but so far only 1 Spine Crawler and 1 Queen lost for Ice. Ice does lose 2 more spines. I think all the Links go down. Looking at the units lost, it's actually pretty even, because remember, Ice is very, very mineral heavy, and a lot of these units are very cheap. Look at that. He's very quickly reinforcing. He's not going to be able to reinforce his Queens just as fast, but Ace actually hasn't lost a lot of units, and even though he has a Forge, he is actually getting weapons too. So these Stalkers are going to do a humongous amount of damage. 1 Queen does get taken down. Now remember, the Stalker does bonus damage against armored. Queens are not armored, they are psionic. I have no idea what an armored psionic is, but Ghosts are psionic, Queens are psionic, and it's actually the best armor class in the game, because no unit does bonus damage to Queens. So Queens are actually very, very good. There is one Observer. He's going to pick off these creep tumors, and I don't know what Ice can do, because Zerglings are very, very poor against this kind of army composition, because Zerglings against a small number of Stalkers is very good, but once a Stalker has a nice ball like this, the Zergling can't surround the Stalker very, very well. And Stalkers actually can kill Zerglings very fast, especially when Weapons 2 is done. These Stalkers now do 12 damage, so they're going to be, with no armor upgrade, they're going to be able to 3-shot a Ling. Previously, they took 4 shots, so that is the critical point for Protoss. Zealot can 2-shot a Ling,